Hi guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I forgot you were supposed to do this, Gareth, because my voice is shot. But yeah, I've given away the illusion now. I've not done this properly at all whatsoever. I've lost my voice, half lost my voice. It's coming back a little bit now. But before we get into this, I want to say a huge apology to Trey, to Trademark Blood, and to everybody that organised the Shropshire Music Awards. It looked like you guys had an amazing night. I was meant to turn up and do some interviews, but I couldn't talk. I think I voice messaged you as well, Gareth, didn't I?
I tried to.
I had the flu and I lost my voice, and as a podcaster, that's kind of my primary thing, is my voice. So I could barely move either, to be fair. So congratulations to all the winners of the Shropshire Music Awards. Congratulations to Trey and the organisers for putting on what looked like an amazing event. And I've spoken to Trey since then, and yeah, we're going to have a heavy involvement with it next year, and we will be there as well. So apologies and congratulations to everybody. Now, we are at Liar Liar.
Yes.
In Oswestry. A really cool spot to record a podcast. I'm actually blown away. We're in what looks like a tiki grass hut. I think that's the only way we can.
I think so. Yeah. It's lovely, quirky. For me, obviously, I've been in lots of cafes around here, and it's the most independent, most quirky, original, individual place for miles. It's a great place to come.
And what are you drinking? You're drinking the chocolate milkshake. You devoured that.
Oh no, they're just too nice. These chocolate milkshakes. They know every time I come in with someone for a meeting, the person who I'm with the meeting with, or like today with you, they have the grown-up drink. And Gareth has a chocolate milkshake. Head of Rocking Horse Media, lives off chocolate milkshakes. It's a thing. And
I'm on the lemongrass and ginger tea because I thought it might help me a little bit. It's a little diffuser in it. It's quite cool. So yeah, we're here today. Nice little place to come and sit and talk about. We're doing this for the Shrewsbury Biscuit rather than Horses and Biscuits. Okay, so what we need to do, if you've never listened to Horses and Biscuits, a little spin-off show that we do with the Shrewsbury Biscuit to support what Rocking Horse Media do. And what us being the Shrewsbury Biscuit, we sort of merged the names together, Horses and Biscuits. You see what we did there? And if you've never listened to it, then what we'll do is I'll let Gareth explain to you who Rocking Horse are and when we got involved. I think it's coming up a year. It's got to be over a year. It's over a year now. It's got to be, yeah.
For me and you, yeah. I mean, Horses and Biscuits, it was this month. Yeah, a year ago this month.
You've got a certain anniversary coming up.
Yes, we do.
And it was before that anniversary, so yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So this coming Monday, which will be the 10th of October, depending on when this goes out, will be a year to the day since we cast our lead actress, Orla Jones, in the role of Izzy Orchard, what's become the lead of Henry House, our care home drama series, and Horses and Biscuits, the spin-off show of the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Very much, whilst it does cover Rocking Horse generally, it's become pretty much the story of Henry House, isn't it? Because that's been the big, long-running production, which we've got lots to talk about today about. But yeah, so that's, you guys got involved a year ago, and it's been you've been there for auditions, rehearsals, workshops, even an accidental feature film for Comic Relief. So we've done a lot in a year.
Yeah, we turned up at Derwin College to record. I recorded a vlog of the feature film. One of the days you were doing the feature film. Stressful day as well, because you guys fell massively behind. You were like taking too long to get those shots in.
We were, yeah.
And you were like, we got like 35 shots to get before we get out of here in like an hour or something.
It was nuts, yeah. And what we found now with Henry House, which is the sort of the bigger, more ambitious version of the same thing in a way, still the same lead actress, still the same character, we found that we need to be a lot more careful when it comes to not giving ourselves too much to do at one go.
Yeah. I guess that's a rookie error for any sort of filmmaker. I mean, even on the small scale, like myself, you know, I'll take on projects and be like, why did I? What was the point in doing? And also going in without a plan as well. Sometimes I'll go in. I mean, KG Theatre, we did a great thing with that took. I say it took 6 months to put together, but in hindsight, Kyle asked me to come and film what the theatre group were doing. And I turned it with my camera, and I recorded so much uncontextual stuff that it was great stuff, but had no narrative. It had no way of putting it together, and it was just like I can't put this together. So we sat on that footage for 6 months, and then I was like, let's do it 6 months later, so we can put the piece of the footage together and stuff.
Okay.
So that's what we did, and that's because I went in there without no shot list, no plan, none of that. So it was gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Have you done that before? Have you?
Many times. I think also you can over-prepare as well. there is that. With Izzy versus Jess, the accidental feature film, we had a very specific shot list, so we knew 1A, 1B, 1C. For those who don't know, the 1 refers to the scene, and then the A, the B, the C, the letter is the scene. The shot. So we had that, and our AD, who was doing it for the first time, did as good a job as he could have done in the circumstances, was there this shot list. But then me being me, I'd have a completely different idea on the day.
Is that Chris?
Yes, it was Chris, yeah.
Lovely guy. I love that guy.
Great guy, good actor as well. And we'd have a totally different idea on the day as to a brand new shot no one had thought of. And of course, then it's not on the shot list. So then we start doing this other shot, and he's looking at his list thinking, Gareth, what's this? And it all get very, very confusing. So going into Henry House, what we chose to do on our first day's filming, which we just recently had, we obviously had a shot list, but we didn't go and letter and number it all. We just said, okay, these are shots we want to get as a guide. And then we just went from there and left it fairly open. So we weren't too confined with the plan.
Yeah.
So you do need to plan, but you can also over-plan. So it's getting that balance right.
I think, yeah, I will talk to you a bit about that later, because you are bringing young people on and sort of having a mentor position, I guess. So we'll bring that back up in a sec. But what I want to talk to you about is from beginning to now, lots of changes have happened. Of course, this was originally called Karen.
Yes.
Which I loved, by the way, because we all know what a Karen is now on social media. It's I don't know if it's deemed misogynistic or a terrible thing to say, but I kind of like it. If you step over the threshold, you're a Karen. So don't step over the threshold. It's kind of like one of those things where you can there's a bit too far you can go.
Yeah.
When it's speaking to a salesperson in a store or an assistant or something, don't do that, because otherwise you'll be deemed as a Karen.
Yeah. And the thing is, when we started, we
that's not what it is, by the way.
But we did. It's a valid point now, because a few people did say, "Oh, is this like a joke thing about the stereotype of the mum of 3 kids who goes and wants to talk to the manager? Is that what this is?" And it's like, no, it's just a name, but that's not what the character's like. But once we stopped Karen being the main lead character, we with the name change, we lost that. So that was good. But yeah, it was for a long time called Karen.
Yeah, and what was the change? Why go from Karen to Henry House? And I know the reason for this, and I think it's wonderful. I really do.
Because when we cast Orla again with her a year anniversary coming up, working with Rocking Horse, she was.
That's the anniversary we were mentioning at the beginning, by the way. That's what that is.
Yes, and she was only a side character. She was in a couple of scenes. I found that actually the character profile. We do character profiles for all of our auditions, and I found it, and I was looking at it thinking, and I was reading it back, and it was at the end of it. It said, "Oh, Izzy Orchard might feature in some storylines," and when you look back at that and you realise what Izzy Orchard's become. And now she is every storyline, and she's every episode. So she's become this major thing, but she wasn't originally. Once we realised that Orla had made Izzy such a big personality, Orla herself has got a big personality, and she built a character to match these Izzy rants, which were so unique to Orla that no one else could do. We felt we're missing a trick here. She needs to be the main character. She needs to be the lead.
And I think it's worth mentioning that Orla was working at Stop Cafe in Greyfriars in Shrewsbury. Lovely, friendly person, great smile. So if you shop in you drink in Stop Cafe in Greyfriars in Shrewsbury, you may have met Orla.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, there is a Shrewsbury link there.
There is. You might have met.
She's not in Shrewsbury anymore. She's moved on. She's graduated from university. And
yes.
She's
got first class honours in musical theatre. She's now up in Leeds doing, right as we speak, actually last night was her opening night. She's now doing Scare Theatre with Doncaster Theatre Factory. So got that going on. And then she's a lead actress in a drama series. She's musical theatre. She's done stage combat in the last year with us. She's got a bit of everything going on.
So the idea is that Orla as a person and as a personality is kind of pushed Karen to, I wouldn't say away from the forefront, because Karen is still in this show. Yeah. But now it's all about Izzy and her journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other characters like Karen, Alid, Wesley, our stereotypical bad guy, the care home administrator, the pencil pusher, the management, that we can all relate to having a boss like that. They're all important characters, but they all kind of fall under this arc of what's become Henry House. It was about.
I want to interview I want to interview the weasel.
Yeah.
Not Gavin.
You have one, didn't you? Remember when
No, we had to. We sent a video as the weasel, but we haven't had to actually interviewed him.
Yeah, that would be fun. We should sort that, definitely. He was going to be here this weekend. I don't know when you want to come on to what's gone on there, but he was going to be here, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll sort that soon.
There was a reason why we're in Oswald Street today, and that's because Gareth originally sort of sent me some money over for fuel, and so we were going to be filming today.
Yeah.
And it was kind of case of, well, sent you the money, might as well make use of you, Alex. Let's get an interview done because things got cancelled or postponed, I guess. And this is how we've been doing things. So I've took a step as a role as a producer, but what I'm doing is I'm helping the brand grow by turning up and filming, releasing vlogs, making these interviews, horses and biscuits. You know, I can use my role as the biscuit guy, I guess, to sort of help you guys grow. And I think we've done all right.
You've done a very good job. I mean, we only got you in as a producer the last few months, so that shows, you know, that was after a year working. You thought, this guy can do more. This guy should have a bigger title. So we felt, you know, we're looking for new producers, and you know, was a perfect fit, and we haven't looked back since.
Well, I mean, like, Henry House is a thing, and Rocking Horse, the profile has grown.
Yeah.
We've got to take a little bit of credit that from the biscuit, I think. Maybe just a little bit. I mean, you guys are great at what you do, don't get me wrong. But but what I love is everyone's collaborating, everyone's working together, and it is in harmony, and that's the best thing. And this is what I saw from you and from Luke Allen as well. Shout out to him, you know, because when he was doing his thing, like, I could see this potential, these people moving and working together, and I could see things growing. It's almost like the birth of the universe. I'm comparing you to the birth of the universe.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you see all these bits of dust just circling around each other and grabbing form and turning into something that could be something special. And I saw a lot of potential in what you guys are doing. So it started off with Luke Allen, moved on to helping you guys, and I could see it grow. And I was right. I was right because
You were. Yeah.
It's my job is to follow you guys to where you go, what the auditions, like we mentioned, and since I've been doing that, you've managed to put together a partnership with Derwin College, one of the most renowned colleges in the UK for what they do. You've created a feature film. You've had your movies shown in Wellington Orbit. You've gone on and you've done amazing things. So as a producer, I've seen you guys grow, and that's been a nice thing to see.
Thank you. And, you know...
He's welling up here. He's like, Alex, I love you.
And we consider you a massive part of that. I mean, even look at Horses and Biscuits. We know what we're doing, and that's great. But, you know, the biscuit and what you do, it's the way that to get it out there, you know? Because me and Orla and the rest of them can do all we want. But no one, until that pilot's done, such a long-term project, there's no way of really... necessarily people finding out about it. And what you do, your cameras and your microphones, you're recording all that every month or every couple of weeks, as it used to be, getting the shows out there just gives people, the supporters, people donating, crowdfunding campaigns, those who back that. It's really encouraging for everyone to be able to tune in and find out what are Rockin' Horse up to this time, what progress has been made this month, you know. And I always think, is this going to be the month when I've got nothing to show for it? But thankfully, every time we've always come up with something, and we've always managed to find that next step. So long may it continue.
How have you been dealing with all this? I got to ask you, because like we always talk about Rocking Horse and Henry House and Izzy and all the actors and the equipment, but like it's not been easy.
No,
it's almost been 2 steps forward, 1 step back, hasn't it? Very much so with you guys. So how have you been dealing with the pressure?
I think it's a tricky one, but it sounds a little bit I don't know, negative, I suppose. It's not meant as a negative, but because in the past, going back years and years, with the previous feature film idea we had, which didn't come off, which I just remember speaking to you about when we first met all those years ago, on that first time I was on the show.
You were so nervous on that podcast.
I was.
That was when we were in the parade. I remember that.
Yeah.
And you were like, I remember it now. You were proper nervous.
I was, but the thing is that I hadn't spoken about what had gone wrong since it gone for a year. I was just almost in hiding. It's no secret I had my issues with drinking things. Me and my partner, who was a big part of Rockin' Horse back then, we'd split up. So it was a year of sort of like finding myself, thinking that, should we even come back? Is there still an audience for Rockin' Horse? You know, have we left it too long, let too many people down? Which we absolutely did let a lot of people down. Is that, will we get another crack at this? And I come onto that show, and it was the first time I'd ever gone and publicly spoke about what had gone wrong in a year.
What is it about drinking that mess things up for you? I mean, is it hard for you to talk about, or can you openly talk about it? Because I mean,
No, yeah, I can. It's not a problem. And I think it helps. And I would encourage anyone with any kind of issue with substance or addiction to talk about it if they can. It's not for everyone, but it does help. And if it helps other people, then I'm all for that. Because with me, there wasn't really that support. I think if you can do it properly, it sounds bad to talk about like it's some sort of art form, but if you can hide your drinking well and not look like you're slurring your words and you're falling over, it's even harder to stop because no one knows you've got a problem. Because like, you know, people, what would you might be drinking, I don't know, half a bottle of whiskey, and you're less pissed than people who are drinking, you know, half a glass of wine, you know, because you're so used to it and it's just become literally part of your everyday life. It's like cereal in the morning, as bad as that is. So no one knew there was an issue. And because no one knew there was an issue, everyone was like, oh, come on, you can have one. And all of this, that's the classic thing. And I've got to tell people out there, whether it's because they're driving or because they might have an issue like I had, they don't want to talk about it. If someone says that they don't want to drink, as their friend, just shut up and let them get on with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, you know, because you're killing people by putting that pressure on. You don't mean to, we know that, but genuinely, it's you. No one's stopping you having a drink. So just let people, you know, live their lives and make their calls. And I guarantee you there'll be a very good reason why not.
Could you see yourself failing, or was it a case of you were so, you know, you'd had a lot of drink and you kind of oblivious of your mistakes?
I think the thing is with me, which is a bit strange as opposed to most people, well, not most people, but the common suggestion about drink is that you drink when you're down and you're sad or you're upset and all that. And whilst there was a bit of that, with me, going back to the first time around at Rocky North, trying to get Run for Your Life made, the original feature film, was I would drink more when things are going well. When after a good audition day or a good interview or a good day on set, I would drink
like a
more.
Sleazy little reward to yourself.
Yeah, it was, I would look
well
forward.
done.
I would look forward because the thing is, because the endorphins that creates naturally from achieving something professionally, I'd want to keep that feeling, that buzz going. So for me, the way to do that was to go home and have what would start as, you know, 4 cans of beer, then it'd be a bottle of wine, maybe then half a bottle of whiskey, or if I was really going for it. But the trouble was, it got to a point that I would be doing that, and then the next morning I'd be carrying on, and sometimes I'd have a good audition on a Saturday, and I wouldn't be sober until the following Wednesday, you know. And the trouble was with that, because I knew I could do it, I'd carry on doing it, because they always say you have to hit rock bottom before you stop, and I was nowhere near rock bottom because I could manage.
At the time of your life.
Yeah, but I also knew deep down that every time I did that, I was taking myself further and further away from the next achievement. Because no matter who you are, myself included, you can't write good scripts if you're smashed. You can't, you know, do good auditions, good interviews if you're hammered. So after every good achievement, it was taking so much longer to get to the next one because I needed to go through that process, sober up and start again. And looking back, if I just cracked on and got on with the next thing, I could have got back to one of those natural highs a lot quicker without the source.
What changed? Obviously, I don't want to go into this too much because I think it's really nice. I think it's good that you're talking about this. But what changed in your life from like the moment you realised you had a problem and come to see me at the parade all those years ago? 2 years ago? Oh gosh, I don't know.
A while ago. Yeah.
What changed in your life? What encouraged you to make that change?
Because my partner, of course, everyone who's seen Izzy vs. Jess will know who that is. Christy Kelly, who was the last lead actress of Rocky North, all his predecessor, I suppose. So she walked out on me. We had obviously a little boy together, Ethan. Shout out to him. Had an eye test today. Didn't need an eye test, but just wanted to get glasses. Somehow got 20 quid sunglasses out of it, so I feel like absolutely mugged off. But love him to bits.
But I've got Scooby-Doo on, Dad.
He's 5 now. But anyway, she'd seen enough and she walked out. And it was the best thing she ever did for both me, her, and for Ethan, because it took that for me to realise how much I was screwing things up and how much of a problem I had.
That's nice.
So I'm a better dad now because of what she did. I'm a better friend to her. Me and her, I see more of her now than when we were living together. We always joke about that, you know. And Rocky North, hopefully, I would like to think I'm a better professional, a better director, a better writer, and just a better man. Because I realised, okay, there's an issue here. But even then, it's not just a case of recognising there's an issue and you wake up and you're fixed. It took a good that was the summer of 2019. I came on your show about a year later, so it still took 12 months from that. I was still going out, even when after she left. I knew there was a problem, but I was still going out and choosing the wrong friends, basically.
So you had to eliminate the negative people that were in your life, just to.
And that took a long time because people.
That's the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing. I mean, I know. I can't say too much, but I know. Yeah. I know that's a huge issue. Is your social circle?
Yeah,
it can be an issue, and I feel like with what's happened with Karen moving on to Henry House and with Rocking Horse and the things that you've been involved with. There's a lot of positivity there with the people around you, with people like Luke Allen, and the team that you've got around you, and Orla, and NASA, all these amazing people that you've met along the way and brought into your team. I feel like there's just a good positive vibe there, and that's probably what you thrive off, maybe. Yeah,
it is that. That's become the new, because I've always had an addictive personality. When I was a kid, when I was like 10, I used to love polos, the mints.
Yeah, which ones? The spearmint ones?
All of them. To the point, I'd have the wrappers and I'd stick them on my wall like posters. I know it's really sad, isn't it? It's probably the autism as well, because I got that too. But it didn't matter what it was, whether it was a football game or even Crash Bandicoot. Big fan of Crash Bandicoot when I was gaming and stuff back in the day. Whatever I was into, I was just obsessed with it.
Hyper focused.
Yeah, and then obviously when that became alcohol, it was the same but 10 times more. So now my addiction, because it's still an addiction, is making a success out of Izzy Orchard and Orla Jones and Henry House, and that's become what drives me now every day. And I think sometimes I don't know about everybody else, but I need a reason to get up. I can't just like, I'll have my breakfast and go for a walk.
It's dangerous, that is, especially when you're trying to fight off the flu.
Yeah.
I was gonna go. I messaged Trey and I was like, I was gonna come to the Shropshire Music Awards, which I mentioned earlier, but I just got everyone ill, wouldn't I? I just made everyone get the flu, and that would have been the terrible thing to do. That's one thing we have in common, I think, is that we just want to obsessed, super obsessed, especially when it came to Pod Aid. It's really funny because usually I'm a very calm, well-natured guy, I like to think, but when we were setting up Pod Aid, we had this amazing backdrop, which worked in the end. We got it right in the end. This amazing backdrop that Reach had made for Pod Aid, and me and Gareth are in the studio at Love to Stay, and I'm absolutely losing my rag with this backdrop, and Gareth's never seen that side of me before.
No, I was like, it's all gone.
And that's the passion, I think. I wanted it to work. And does that ever happen to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Orla and Christy could tell you better than most, but on the set of Izzy vs. Jess, I did have a moment when I proper went at people, and I was just like, and I think if you don't do it that often, when you do it, it has more effect, and people listen quicker. They're like, that guy doesn't normally shout like that, and so we need to seriously sort ourselves out, because and as a director on a set, you are expected to do that every now and again. You can't be a walkover, but at the same time, you don't want to be treating people, shouting at everyone all the time either. There has to be a balance, I think. So as long as you do it when you really need to do it, then it's effective. But if you do it all the time, people get desensitized to it and think you're just a bit of a moody git. Yeah. So yes, there is a balance to it.
Have you thought of advertising on the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast? It's a great way to organically tell people about your business. Our listener base is growing all the time. At the moment, we are averaging around 1,500 downloads a month, which is a great number. We have a great mix in demographic, and most of our listeners are in and around Shropshire. We are a community interest company, so any money that we make goes straight back into the show. We want to help local independent businesses, so we don't charge an awful lot. If you would like to advertise on my show, please get in contact with me. My email is shrewsburybiscuitpodcast@gmail.com, or message us on Facebook or Instagram. Advertise on the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast and be heard.
And speaking of people on set and people that are working with you, the profile of the stars that you're bringing into Henry House now is rising. It's going higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, it is, and and I think that's a really good comparison to make to what we were talking about a few minutes ago about coming back after that year out when I first went on the show with you, and all I wanted then was a chance to replicate and get back to where we were the first time round. But we didn't work with any celebrities then. We didn't work with any names. We didn't work with anyone of the talent of Orla. We didn't have a link with someone like Derwin College. If you said to me then, when I first came back on that show, not only are you going to come back, but you're going to come back and operate on a different scale, higher than ever before, I would never have thought it was possible. And I owe yourself and Orla and Derwin College, Abby Baker over at Derwin College, the work experience coordinator there, has made so many things possible. Luke Allen, I could go on and on and on. Simon Fisher-Becker has become a massive part.
He's been hugely influential, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
For those who don't know, Simon Fisher-Becker was in Harry Potter and in Doctor Who. He's the blue guy.
And Doctor Who, we've got a few people from there now. I mean, we've just this week, we announced it 2 days ago. Luke deserves a lot of credit for this one. He's negotiated the whole thing. We've got Annette Badland, who is the most high-profile actor we've ever worked with. Again, Doctor Who. Again, EastEnders, who worked with Danny Dyer and EastEnders closely. Midsummer Murders. Ted Lasso. She's been in all sorts of stuff. If you've had a childhood, you would recognise Annette Badland.
I remember from Ted Lasso. Oi! I can't do that. Oh my god. Oi! Yeah.
And then, of course, Fraser Hines, who's been sort of the talk of the week, really. Fraser Hines as well, who we've cast from Emmerdale and Doctor Who. So, yeah, we're incredibly full. And Colin Spall, who was directed by Hitchcock.
Oh, my God, I can do his voice now. Hi, I'm Colin Spall. Can't do it. I can't. He's got a beautiful voice.
He has got a lovely gravelly tone to his voice.
Hi, I'm Colin Spall. I can do it normally. I can't do anything at the moment. How do you reach actors of that caliber? How do you find that? Because you obviously the budget's not there to bring in superstars and things. I mean, there's a lot of with what we're doing is kind of because we believe in the project, but when it comes to bringing in actors and actresses,
a lot of it is just they always say you hear it every interview, don't you? Always, this business is all about networking, and obviously it is. But there's also a bit of luck involved, and you meet one person who knows someone else, So there's that. What you need someone like Matt Campbell-Dell, who works with us now, a fellow producer.
Oh, I'm Matt.
And Matt is a booking agent for personal appearances at things like comic conventions and so on for the likes of Simon, the likes of Fraser. So once you get that guy who's got that web and he knows all the different people, his address book is what takes us to that next level. So that's where a lot of it's come from. But then that being said, you go to what's happened with Annette, and that was literally Luke just dropped her a message on Facebook, said, would you be interested in doing that? Sent her a script. She got back in touch and she said, the script's great. And I said to Orla before we'd even cast it, even if she says no, who would have thought that Annette Badland would look at our script and say she likes it? I mean, I was happy from that point.
It's nice when an actor gets to a point where they just want to give something back. I mean, over the years working with USAC and with Pod 8, we've made some amazing friends, and one of them was at Pod 8, Jeffrey Weissman, George McFly. We are going to be releasing I'm going to do studio drops of all the Pod 8 stuff, by the way. So we're going to drop them studio at a time.
Fantastic.
So you're going to get 8 interviews, bam, in one place. So you can either watch or listen to. But Jeffrey Weissman's one to definitely wait for. I reckon if he was in Shropshire, he would definitely work with you with what we're doing, because he's one of those kind of guys. He's just such a nice, warm guy. Do you know what I mean? And you can tell there's a lot of, I'm going to pass the torch a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I think
help these people out.
As I'm sure we'll go on to talk about in a minute, the setbacks that we've had to face this week, colossal last-minute setbacks, which is part and parcel of the business. And I think it's easier to get over it, if that's the right way to put it, when you've been through bigger setbacks. It's a little bit self-deprecating or cynical, I suppose, but when you've been through worse, when things like time frames get changed and schedules get put back, when you've been through things when you think, have I even got a business left? Suddenly things like schedules becomes a lot less of a worry, because you just, quite frankly, you've had it worse, We've still got Derwin College, we've still got these amazing actors, which we've still got all those things. So relatively speaking, yes, it's stressful at the time, but you take a minute, you calm down, you take a breath, and you look at the situation, you talk with your team, and you think, you know what? We've been in worse situations than this and come out the other side, so we'll come out of this one too. But I have to say, the likes of Simon in particular, Colin Spall, I met with him just yesterday. They are so professional and so respectful that despite their manic, busy schedules, they're wanted all over the world. They were, out of all the people I spoke to about these setbacks as having to delay filming until like the early part of next year, and they were so good about it because, quite frankly, they've been there and seen it so many times on much bigger scales than this.
Yeah.
You know, and they were so on board with it. And I think it's a lesson to be learned for those who don't have the same experience is, you know, look to those guys and look how they handle it, because that's the way to do it.
I mean, like we've definitely turned a corner when it comes to how stars behave on set and how they are as human beings. I feel like, you know, we were talking about Karening people earlier and getting that sort of that label. That's starting to happen in Hollywood now. I mean, recently we had Shia LaBeouf, Kevin Spacey, all of these. I mean, Kevin Spacey did some terrible things, but before that, he was known as a monster on set. He would not get hired because of how bad he was on set.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like it's coming around now, isn't it? Where like people are starting to realize that you've got to have a good head on your shoulders. You can't go around being a diva and throwing things around and behaving. I mean, I was listening to The Real Ones with John Bernthal from The Punisher, and he's talking to Shia LaBeouf, and he's like, I used to walk up to people and I used to ruin their day. I used to destroy their worlds. Like I've done that before many times. I just walk on set and just destroy someone. And he goes, now I'm in the healing process. I look back at that causes me great pain because of what I did to that person. You know, it's just nice to see that, you know, there are good people out there in this industry. Yeah. People that are really conscious about how they behave, and that's kind of what we're seeing, I think.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
Sorry, that was a really long way of going. People are nicer now.
Yeah. And I think on a project like this, it's such a passion project as well, that even those that sometimes, it's very often that we don't all get on and we don't all agree. But on occasions like that, when you basically faced with two options, do we push forward and carry on filming now, or do we hang back and wait? And the reason, just for context, for anyone who's not aware, what that relates to is one of our main cast members, one of our bigger stars, isn't able to be filming as scheduled, which is going to be literally this week.
That's where we're supposed to be now.
Yeah, where we would be literally rehearsing today, which obviously is definitely gutting, is definitely not something that we're happy about. We're not going to pretend that we are, but ultimately we had two choices. Do we recast this actor, and do we just bring someone else in who won't be anywhere near that caliber, and just try and stubbornly and selfishly just push forward, give our continuity artist a whole host of problems, bless her. Big shout out to Sarah Mahoney, who
butchered her name, by the way, the last weekend.
Yeah, I think I just did as well, to be honest.
Mahoney.
But yeah, she was on Horses and Biscuits, and she's doing an amazing job. But she is one person. We don't have the budgets of the Hollywood scale stuff when they got whole rooms of continuity artists. You know, this is all on one person. So if we recast our lead actor, or whether we filmed all the stuff he wasn't in and then filmed his stuff when he is available, the continuity, I cannot stress enough, would have gone out the window, and it would have been so unreasonable to put that on her.
Yeah,
you know, it just wouldn't have been fair. But what I will say is obviously there's it's a game of opinions, and you've got a lot of people all heavily involved, producers, actors, crew. And the majority, the overwhelming majority, all said the same thing, that it was right to hang back and let's film all of it when we've got our man back. Stick
to your guns, isn't it? You know, and hopefully it works. And I think, is that a learning process for you then? These people are human beings as well. Do you know what I mean? Like you thinking of the project and like the deadlines and making sure everything's there. I mean, there is so much to oversee.
Yeah, there is
in these things.
And I think that we're sort of victims of you know, the success of the likes of what Henry House has already become. We're victims of what all of us turned Henry House into, and the potential that she's created for us. The likes of Simon, Fraser, Annette, what they've brought to the table is that, quite frankly, whilst it would have been lovely to have a screening at Christmas, that's what we did for Izzy vs. Jess. And as nice as a red carpet night in a local cinema is, this project far exceeds that. This has become far bigger than some night out with friends and family. If we went ahead and pushed forward, that's all we'd get. I guarantee you now, I'll say it on the show, we will not get greenlit without Fraser Hines. we will not get greenlit without that name. So it was not worth.
Is that something
the risk.
you've got into your head though? That are you beating yourself up a little bit, maybe?
I mean, to an extent, but I've got to be so careful now that we've put all this work in. You know, Dean, Orla, Kate, Wesley, Gavin, all those guys. They've put so much effort and work into it.
Imagine Wesley going, what? What?
They put so much effort in. Is that I've got to protect the product. I've got to protect what it can become, and in order for us to stand any chance of reaching that potential and getting us on TV or a streaming service, which is ultimately what we're here for now. You know, in the beginning, when we, like you said earlier, when it was just Karen, maybe a night out in Telford would have been enough for us. Well, yeah, great. You know, look at us, because it's still growth on some level. But since we cast Orla and Izzy Orchard became this fascinating long-term character, because any good series has that character with longevity who there's facets to, and you've seen that scene I sent you, and you know, and how sort of detailed and complex that performance is that Orla's given us. I've got to look after her, and I've got to look after Henry House and make sure that we take this as far as we can. And if we rush this now, we will regret it. So I think we are making the right decision.
Take time and push that deadline back.
Yeah. But also, what I will say for everyone involved, and no matter what side of that fence they're on, whether they think we're making the right call or they're not, or they don't, what I do recognise...
Remember, I'm the boss, all right? And I'm making all the decisions.
Well, what I was going to say was is that everyone wants the same thing. And I think it's so easy to take it personally. I was told recently, some very good advice was, you know, you care so much, you do take it all personally, and I'm sure you do with the biscuit as well. We're all for it. So because you put your heart and soul into it, it's my new addiction. So you know, you do. But it was very good advice that I was given, and it reminded me that we all, whatever opinion we've got on the matter, and it's a huge decision to make one way or the other. Careers could depend on it, without sounding too dramatic, is we all want the same thing. So even those who don't agree with the decision, I respect where it's coming from. It comes from a place of love, and we're all learning, and we're all growing all the time, and we will continue to grow together.
I am the boss. That's what you gotta say. I think you've got to do that sometimes. Though. You got to be like, no, listen, this is how it's got to be, guys. No, that's it. And I've had to learn that. I know you're not saying that, by the way. I'm not going to add on to that. And be like, yeah, that's what Gareth said. That's how he was, right? But I'm with you. I kind of like try to be. I'm a bit like Michael Scott from The American Office. I want to be everyone's friend, you know. And you can't be sometimes. Sometimes you got to be like, no, I've got a vision. That's the vision. Yeah. Right, and that's where we're going.
And I think because so often I don't have to pull rank, because so often we agree on everything. You know, like as everyone knows, me and Orla pretty much run the show these days, literally, and make all those big decisions, be it auditions, be it script. We literally write the scripts together. We're very, very close professionally, and the same goes to a certain extent with the rest of the cast as well. I'm always talking with Dean about character ideas and who's going to play his dad and whatever else. So when you're so close to people, and so often it is a conversation, when you do have to say, no, this is how we're doing it, I think it's more jarring, because people are so used to, you know, us all agreeing and being on the same page. On those few occasions when you're not, with one individual or two individuals.
It does happen. It's got to happen.
You know, and you do have to stay firm. But I think long term, they respect you more for it. Rather than being a pushover and just doing what everyone else wants you to do, you know? You do need to look at the majority and go, I've got to look after everyone here, not just one or two people.
Yeah, we were having discussions about Pod Aid. Like last week, we were talking about Pod Aid for next year. Yeah. And I want to make it big next year. I'm speaking to some big companies, and I want to make it a global thing. Like that's how I've always seen Pod Aid. That's always what I wanted to do. I nearly didn't do this year. I nearly canned the whole thing because I just didn't want to do it. But like, I was like, no, that's my goal. That's my vision. That's what I want. But our stint, our part of Pod Aid stays in Shrewsbury and Shropshire, because we're going to bring the world to Shrewsbury. Do you know what I mean? That's my vision. And we were discussing it, and the guys were like, what if we go here? And what if we go there? We can go to Wolverhampton. I was like, no, guys.
Yeah.
It stays in Shrewsbury, okay?
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring other podcasts in from where they are in the world. We can have one in America. We can have one in India. We can have one in France. We can have one in Canada, wherever. And we can have like 5 podcasts doing the same thing at the same time, raising money for their own charities. Do you know what I mean? With conversation, we can change the world. Anyway, that's about that. Sorry, I went on a tangent. So with what's happened with Fraser, how much planning has gone out the window? Because obviously, like when you plan a day on set, you've got to have camera people there, you got to have lights there, the actresses there. All these things are planned in advance.
Yeah.
So how much has gone completely out the window now with all this, and how much reimagining? As a polite way of putting it, are you on to do?
Yeah, well, me and Luke in particular, and credit to him, he really has come of age this week. If that's not a really
is that boy growing up?
Thing
is he
to
growing
say.
up? Yeah.
But I'm just the guy having a chocolate milkshake. But it's a nice chocolate milkshake. Visit Liar and find out for yourself. But yeah, no, between me and him, we had, I wouldn't like to think how many Zoom calls, phone calls to all these people. There must have been 25 people we had to get in touch with. And this is only for one weekend with...
Hopefully there's nobody stood in the car park in Derwin at the moment. Like, where are they all?
I was thinking, have I told everyone? Is there anyone I've forgotten about? The hair and makeup artists we had to get in touch with, obviously sound recordists, DOPs.
People come from all around the country.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's everything is planned to the letter for a day on set of Henry House. Whilst obviously like you just said about keeping the Biscuit and Pod Aid in Shrewsbury. One thing you have to say about Henry House is we want it to be as much as possible, but honestly, it isn't particularly a local project anymore. You can't really call it that. I mean, it's got some local reference points. Obviously, it started here and Derwin's local, but we're probably about as local as it gets.
It's technically international now because you've got an Australian guy.
Yeah, we've got Australian guys involved composing and different linked with podcast shows over there. So we've got Gavin, who was coming up from London. Fraser was in Lincoln. I'm not even sure where Annette Badland is, but wherever she is, she's not my next door neighbour. I guarantee she's coming in from somewhere.
Yeah.
So there is, but what we are insisting on, we're bringing these guys to local B&Bs, to local hotels. They're using Derwin's Cafe. We're using local taxi firms. So we are making sure that whilst it might not be a local project in terms of the cast or even the crew so much, we are making sure that that those national stars are putting money into the local economy, into the local businesses, which we think that's the one thing we have to make sure we keep doing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that, what's happened with Fraser hasn't completely derailed the whole thing. It hasn't made you like flip a table and be like, well, that's it, I'm done. Like there's a contingency and a plan, and you're happy to
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's take our time a bit. We don't have to rush here,
And I think, like I said before, I'll go back to it, is we've been through worse, I'm not saying it's a good thing. Like, I'm not saying you should be proud of when things have gone absolutely up the wall. But I spent a year wondering if I still had a business, and every actor I had walked out on me, and rightly so, because I was a mess. We've been in worse situations. So when things like this happen, yes, it's traumatic to an extent, but I think it affects those who weren't there for the bad times a lot more than it affects me, because I'm looking at thinking, honestly, we've had it worse, so we'll be all right. We'll get there.
Good. Now let's go back to something I mentioned earlier. I said I'll come back to it, and that's bringing on the youth and to sort of bringing in young people to sort of learn and be in the atmosphere of the industry. There's so many young people that's come through with what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. And a big shout out to James Law, who's studying at Marches just down the road in their sixth form college. He's studying film. We had him on work experience. You had him on work experience, didn't you? You came through for me and took care of him for it. And we did an interview, but I accidentally deleted it. Before Pod Aid, I cleared out my my mixer because everything is got a hard drive on it, and I was like, yep, that's gone. Oh, all I need is this and this and this, and the thing before the this and this and this I deleted. And it was just a little 5-minute chat that me and James did. I said thank you to him for putting on a good show, being great, and he came with me to Lincoln Davis. We did some filming, and he was like, oh my god, this is different, because usually he's not used to filming like 3-minute, 2-minute things. He's used to filming longer shots.
Yeah, that's my fault.
I know, but I mean, like, he's like, but it's impactful. Like, we're recording these like 3-minute things that we used at Pod Aid that explained what people are doing at Lincoln Davis, the great things.
Yeah.
New CT scanners and things. And he was like, oh, this is really good. This is because I'm getting to see that side of it.
Yeah.
And he's been chatting to me on WhatsApp about, he's bought the same camera that I've got.
Fantastic. You asked me what camera to get, and we're having that conversation. That's good.
And he's asked me, lots of advice on microphones and stuff. It's nice that you're bringing younger people into.
Yeah, I think it's so important because, as we found recently, we've gone to bring in more experienced crew, not in James's role, but in different roles, and they come in sometimes, and they really do love themselves, and okay, they've been there and they've done it on a certain level.
Not mentioning names. I saw that at the workshop. I did see it at the workshop, and I was kind of like,
yeah, you do, and you get a bit of that. But people like James, young people coming through, we're in talks at the moment with Wrexham Glendower University about getting some of their guys in on work experience, their final year students. Obviously, that was when we were filming right now, but we will still do that. They're getting us in for a talk. Little reminder to Luke Allen to organise that for us. We're going to go in and tell them what we do as part of they have a module when they bring in external employment guys from the industry for film and TV. So we're going to be working with them and bringing them on board. And obviously the fact that Henry House is set in Wrexham, the more links we've got over the border, the better. So there's lots of opportunities. And with James in particular, as he already knows, and this is absolutely no disrespect to Rob, our DOP, who's doing an amazing job, but James is the DOP for me for the future. We're grooming him for that. We're building him up for that. One day he's going to take over and he's going to be an even bigger asset than he is right now.
Are you happy with youngsters using, with no disrespect at all, using Rocking Horse as a leap pad? Because obviously there's like the movies,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think they're helping us out along the way, and we're growing as well, and we're looking to make that next jump. We've already, even in the past month, we've gone from Fraser Hines being our star name, and he still is, and then we've got Annette Badlands, who's even more recognisable. So we're growing all the time. So we absolutely would be hypocrites if we weren't happy for other people to do the same. But the great thing is we look after these guys, and no matter what they do in their careers, take Orla for instance, she's now going off and doing the scare theatre stuff, and she's got other work lined up.
Dean Raymond working in one of the most well-known circuses in Europe.
Exactly, but these guys, they'll go off and do their other stuff, but they know where their bread's buttered, they know who looks after them, they know where their long-term opportunities are, and that's in a long-running series, and they're not getting that anywhere else, and they're not stupid. They know that Henry House is the place they'll always come back to. So along the way, if we can help them show reels, things to put on their CV, then we're all for it.
Nice. I think this has been a good chat. I like that we got a bit deep about the alcohol stuff, because I think that could inspire someone, to hear that you confess. Owning up to yourself, I think, more than anything. You kind of being honest with yourself rather than being like, you did it for you, and in return you've got what's coming with Rocking Horse. Guys, if you're not listening to Rocking Horse, you're not aware of what's going on. There were some amazing things happening. Like we're not just saying that because it's a project I'm part of, but like Derwin were absolutely smitten to be working with you, weren't they?
Yeah, we would be nowhere without Derwin. I big up Orla an awful lot, but with Derwin College, arguably are the most important factor we've got, because if we didn't have them, we don't have a care home drama, because quite frankly, without the budget to create a set from scratch, where else could you do it, We've cast their own students in main roles, not just because we're ticking a box, like a lot of people, I think in today's day and age with people being so scared of offending everyone. I think sometimes you see people in roles, whether it's to do with skin colour or because they're SEN or whatever, and you always get a feel that, they're going to cast that person because they're actually gay or lesbian or black or white or in a wheelchair or whatever. With us and with those actors, I have to stress the performing arts department at Derwin, they are so talented. They are
wonderful human beings. Anna, like we were speaking to last weekend.
Yeah.
Amazing character.
And with Anna again tomorrow. So we're still carrying on. Worth mentioning it, even though the filming has been shunted back to January, we are still carrying on with the work experience. I went and met with Abby, had an emergency meeting with her a few days ago after the Fraser situation developed, and I said, look, we're not walking away from this partnership just because we can't film now. We're not going to turn up in January and expect to just pick up where we left off. We're going to be here every Sunday. We're going to be doing something with Anna to keep that going. Hopefully maybe get you in one weekend and you can have a chat with her in person, do something with her.
A shout out to the Cub Scouts in Shrewsbury. It's a weird one, because I was chatting to the scout leader, and I was like, yeah, I can come in, I can bring some microphones, we can do a workshop, baby, a podcast workshop. And then I went away and I thought, how would I do that? what would I actually do? And I kind of imposter syndrome. I didn't do it in the end, but I feel like I've gone away and thought about it a lot.
Good.
And what we can do is we can create a podcast from scratch. So I can come to Derwin.
That'd be amazing.
Bring my equipment. We can write something. We can record it. We can edit it. We can actually release it.
That'd be amazing. Because the thing is, funny you should mention that, but Abby was telling me that before we went on your show last week, well, I didn't, but Anna did, and she did a great job. I've not been on the last 2 shows. No one's missing me. I'm getting quite worried. But Abby was telling me that I think it's part of one of her modules that she has to do. They were looking at she needs to research about podcasts and stuff. So if she could do one for real with you on one day and get it all done,
Mr. Podcast,
that would be amazing. So yeah, I'll definitely pass that on. And it's another link back to Derwin, isn't it? You know, there's that place. It's like it just, in a good way, sucks us back every time. We're never away for long. I was there with Luke just this week. Went in to see people to let them know about obviously the changes of plan, and Luke hadn't been there for months because his job now he's evolved very much professionally, and now he's not on the set now. He's in an office somewhere being a production manager, and he's doing a grand job of it. So it was a rare visit to set for Luke Allen. And he hadn't been there for quite a while. You know, like if you've got relatives you see all the time, you don't notice them getting older. But then if you don't see them for 6 months, like, oh, that's changed in a positive way. He went in there. I walked in there, picked up a lanyard. Oh, hi, Gareth. Yeah, they're in the cafe. It was just like, it's like going to work on a daily basis. Everyone just knows who everybody is. They know you're on first name terms with them all. And Luke picked up on that in particular. He was like, this is not formal anymore. We're not here having to... Of course we make an effort, but there's no nerves, there's no sort of proving ourselves. They trust us, we trust them, and we've become like a long-term part of their lives. And Abby was telling me just before the Fraser stuff happened, she was saying, well, when are you going to know about the series? Because we want you in next year. We want you here every year for the next 5 years to get this show finished. They're not looking at this as a short-term thing just to get the pilot done. Derwin College want us there for half a decade making this show, because they see that their students aren't going to get a better offer anywhere else, you know. So long may it continue with them. Absolutely love them to bits.
Is there anything like so obviously this show goes primarily out to Shrewsbury. Slurring my words. This tea is amazing, by the way. Lemongrass and ginger that I've had at Lyle. But anyway, if there's anybody listening to this that can help you with a venue, with equipment, or even with actors, or is there anything that you might need if someone's listening to this?
Well, we're always on the lookout for background artists. Obviously, we had our workshop in the summer, did a great job. We still got all of them on the books. But now we've got time. We are looking at what are little things we might have missed if we made the pilot right now. Things like set designers. It's might sound like a fancy job. It's an important job, but honestly, anyone can do it as long as they're creative and they've got an eye for that sort of thing. So things like set designers is something that we're going to make a lot more of an effort on now.
Well, I can hook you up with Mick Strawn. I mean, he makes horror movies, and he's in America. But I mean, he might give you some advice.
There you go. Ideas are good. We want ideas all the time.
He's absolutely bats crazy, but yeah. So you after that, any venues? Because I know there's. Remembering looking back at the script, there's bars in the script.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, we've got a nightclub. We've got cafes also, and obviously Derwin offers a lot of those things. But nightclub is one.
Car park. I mean, it sounds daft, but
anything, any people, any locations, and also what we're going to be looking at now is businesses. We did an incredible crowdfunding campaign. Lots of individual hardworking supporters have put their money in. We're not coming back to ask them for any more. They've done their bit. Now we want businesses. You know, come on, you guys have got more money than the individuals do. We can put your product in the show if you run a local brewery. Product
placement, you know.
Yeah, we can make sure that all the beers that Alid drinks are your beers, you know, stuff like that, in exchange for a financial contribution. We've got some funding in now from a very unique source.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because like when we're talking about this, I mean, we're coming to the end of just to put in perspective, Gareth literally put his life on the line for this. And I'm not even. You did a clinical trial.
I did do a clinical
just to get
trial.
the extra funds in to get you over the finish line. Right?
Yes, and we've got that now. So the great thing is the pressure's off. We should be okay, but we're always going to need a bit more support. So businesses, please don't let that put you off. But I took part in a clinical trial. I'm not allowed to say what for. But I did do a clinical trial, and that got us the funding. Obviously, the reason you get paid lots of money for doing these things is because there's risks. I was fortunate; I didn't come away with any kind of adverse effects. So maybe I had the placebo, because some people didn't get the real thing. Other people, I was literally lying on beds next to them and they were like tingling and, you know, and not feeling too good. And I was thinking, oh, am I next? But no, I came through it and I was just, it was all right. It was
You
okay.
played medical Russian roulette, man.
I did. But for what it was for, I mean, I don't want to sound cheesy or pretentious. Oh, look at, you know, me. I'm believing in risking my life for the art and any of that. I don't want to be that guy. But that's how much, not just me, that's how much everyone cares about Henry House. I'm not saying they would all have done that, but they're all sacrificing something. That was just my way of showing how much it matters, how much I care.
Of course. Well, I think what you guys did, obviously I saw something in you guys at the beginning, which is why I was very happy to be a part of what it did. And seeing the progression from the beginning right to now has been an absolute pleasure. And like, you know, if like I can't stress enough, listeners, if you've not been listening to Horses and Biscuits, I mean, go back and take a listen by all means. But if not, definitely go to the social media, the Instagram, Facebook, Rocking Horse Media, and get a look at what's going on with Henry House, because you know it does help with the community. It helps with community projects and colleges and businesses. It brings in actors and crewmen from all around the world, and women, sorry, from all around the country. It's having an amazing effect, and you know, so please just get involved and give them guys a follow, and make sure you show their support. There's your support, their support. Oh my God, I'm dying.
We know what you mean.
I still got the flu, guys. I still got the flu. My head is absolutely just bizarre. How I'm very rarely ill, but absolutely knocked me for six this time. The flu has. Really has.
Bless you. Well, I appreciate you coming out to us to do this.
Oh, this has been great. Liar, by the way, in Oswestry. I don't know if we're going to try and get an interview with the owner. It seems like quite a busy place, but an amazing little cafe.
Yeah, it is.
Just in front of the market hall.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. So,
Corner.
Yeah, if you find yourself in Austria on a market days, a market town, then once you've done your shopping, pop into Liar, and you know,
great drinks, and there's board games, there's pool tables, there's foosball I can see, and there's these. What we're filming in now is like. It's like a little hut. It's like its own little hut, and there's a couple of them, and this has got flowers and grass around the outside. Looks like a tiki hut. Go on our Instagram and take a look at the reel I've just put up, because that's where we are. Is there anything we've missed?
I don't think so. I think that's everything. I mean, one thing I just like to finish on, I suppose, is thanking you for bringing up the alcoholism thing in particular. Obviously, it's a storyline we're going to explore with Dean Raymond's character in the show. I don't need a consultant for that one, but a lot of people get very awkward or nervous around bringing it up, and I'm glad that you know, look me in the eye and weren't afraid to, because it's only when people ask those questions that you can hopefully help other people out there. So that's important.
It's something that I've got comfortable with over the years. I feel like conversation over the years is like weight training. The more you talk and the more conversations that you have about different subjects and subject matter, the easier they get. There have been exceptions recently. Verity Jane came and spoke to us at Pod Aid, survivor of cancer. Of course, you know, go back and listen to that, because there was a moment there where I was kind of like, I was trying to get the questions out for the words out for a question that seemed unnatural, even to me, someone who's been doing this for years. And so there are moments where I do struggle, but I feel like these are conversations that must be had.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that what we just talked about there might inspire someone.
Absolutely, and Henry House, when we get there, we'll cover storylines like that, and just like this podcast, any good drama gets the listeners, the viewers, to start having conversations in their living rooms, you know. And if we can do that, then hopefully we can help people. Wonderful.
Right, I've Instagram, Facebook. Is there anywhere that?
I think that's it. Our website is www.rockynorsemedia.co.uk, and if you're interested in getting involved in whatever capacity, set designers, I'm talking to you right now, info@rockynorsemedia.co.uk, and get in touch with us. And there's lots of exciting stuff going on, and we've got a bit of time now, so it's a perfect time to get involved without putting loads of crazy pressure on yourself.
Wonderful. Well, I'm not going to play the outro music because I'm going to go see if the owner of this place wants to come and have a quick chat with us at the end of this. But thank you for chatting to me, Gareth. It's been really nice sort of stepping out today.
No problem. A pleasure, as always.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Peace out, guys. Catch us next week. Peace out. So today I was chatting to Gareth at Liar Liar in Oswestry. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit, so very rarely I come into Oswestry, but it seems to be whenever I do, good things happen. The World of Tech I think it is. Yeah. They were really nice to me when we came up here with Gareth last time. They donated. They gave me a component for Pod Aid, the charity event that we did last week, for very cheap, which is really nice. And today I've come here, and it's a really nice space. I'm chatting to the owner now. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Tom. I've been the owner of Liar for just over 6 years now.
6 years, and it's a very unique place. Right, it's not your typical cafe, is it?
I like to think not really. Do you mean in terms of the space? Yeah,
it's a really, really creative space. I love it because you I think you're walking downstairs. It's quite small, intimate, and then you come upstairs and it just opens up into this really great place with board games and the vintage video games. And then you got this hut here that I've as a podcaster, as a guy who does audio, I was like, yep, we're doing it in there.
Perfect. Yeah. To be honest, this kind of happened in lockdown, a bit of a lockdown project. The space had always been here, but we'd always sort of try to keep it quite a small, intimate business. So yeah, the space as you walk in is quite small. We did have an extra room upstairs, but yeah, through lockdown and needing the increased space for people to be able to distance and all the rest of it, it made sense to try and utilise what was here.
It's always interesting to see how the pandemic sort of helped form businesses and transform them into something different, because this is quite unique. I love it. I mean, just to describe to the listeners, I described when I was chatting to Gareth, it's almost like being inside a tiki hut. It's just flowers and grass upon the walls.
More often than not, it came down to budget. What's the cheapest way to do something?
It's wonderful.
A bit different.
I love it. Yeah.
So.
How long has this been been open then? Liar Liar.
Lila's been here since September 2016, so yeah, just over 6 years.
And what's Oswestry like as a place to trade and stuff? Was it bustling? Do you have issues? I mean, what's it like?
I enjoy it, to be honest. Yeah, so I got into coffee probably about 10 years ago now. I opened up my first coffee shop, and I started to really enjoy it. And I travelled around a lot, and I spent some time living in Bristol, learning my trade, I guess. And I loved it down there. And I think I would always come back to Oswestry anyway, but I was sort of accelerated by the arrival of my daughter. And coming back, it was hard, to be honest, because I'm a big food and drink person. So coming back to Oswestry, I don't think there was that many quality-focused businesses. And I would say since we've opened, I think there's quite a few. I think, to be honest, I would say punching above its weight, really. I think
Shropshire's just an amazing place for it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're surrounded by some really good, high-quality businesses, which... yeah, for a town that doesn't have a university, doesn't have great transport links, I think we do incredibly well. I love
Oswestry because it is such a unique town. It really is. I mean, in Shrewsbury, Shrewsbury has its own sort of feel. It's like an arty sort of place. Oswestry has that market town vibe to it, and then you come to Liar Liar, and it's like stepping into your own little universe inside here. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Just
to be honest, I mean, I can't take too much credit for the space. It wasn't as if any of it's too well planned. It's just
I think that's the idea of it. That's what I like about it.
I think we've just always tried to embrace. We've come across some really good creatives since we've been here, and if we can utilise their skills, then I let them go a bit crazy with it. I'm not creative, I would say. I'm a bit more rigid, look at the logistics of things, how's the space going to function, and I sort of pull that together the best I can, and then let the creatives make it look pretty, I guess.
That's what life's all about, though. Just let the clever people that know how to draw nice things do that. Anyway, I sit behind a microphone, and then all the other stuff is... you say you like your coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee is a creed, isn't it? It really is. I mean, my wife is from Colombia. We love... sampling coffees from all around the world. If we ever go to London, we'll go Harrods and buy some exotic coffees that are just way too expensive for what they are. What did you learn about, when you're traveling around and you're learning to try and find the right coffee to sell? What kind of journey was that like for you?
It was interesting, to be honest. I think whenever I've gone into any job, I always want to learn as much about it as I can. And the thing I found with coffee was the more I learned, the less I knew, really. And it was really interesting. There's a place in Bristol that it's called Full Court Press. I would probably say it's one of, if not mean, it's probably in the top 5 coffee shops in the country. I remember the first time going there, just because of the latte art on top, I could probably do some better latte art than the one that got served to me. So I was like, oh, I'm better than this coffee shop. And it's only now reflecting back 5 years later, and all the knowledge I've got now, still nowhere near what they served me that day. Like, it's interesting, to be honest. I love the science behind it.
From me, from Shrewsbury to you to Oswestry, I don't know how. Obviously, I'm in my own little glass jar, but I'm seeing a lot of movement towards independent business owners and stuff. You know, we were talking before when we were about. I'll very rarely go to the big chains when it comes to coffee shops because I love to support independence. Has there been some sort of similar movement here in Oswestry? Do people tend to lean towards more independent business owners?
So. I think the problem was when coffee first came around. I mean, it was the Costas and Starbucks that created the coffee culture here, and I think independents probably jumped on board that a little bit and just seen it as a chance to make some good money, good markup and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's taken a while for independents to realise, like, to be honest, when I opened my first shop, my aim was to be as good as Costa, which, I mean, I would argue now that they sell a completely different product to what we do. It's a sort of commodity coffee, and there's no way they can train thousands of staff across the country to serve the same level of product that we've got here, and I've got to teach 2 people how to make coffee. So I would always gravitate towards the independents. I think there's obviously bigger risk for the customer. They don't know what they're going to get. But I enjoy that, to be honest. It's took me across Europe trying to find some really good coffee shops and across the country, and it takes me to some great businesses, to be honest.
Nice, I love it. And well, thank you so much for letting us come and record today. It really has been a nice place to sit and record. And where can people find you guys on social media and stuff?
Liar social on Instagram.
Yep.
Maybe Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Liar Social.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for chatting to me today. It's been really nice. And thank you guys for listening to this episode. It's been really nice chatting to Gareth and finding out about Rocking Horse and the journey. And we'll obviously continue with that. And we'll catch you guys next time on the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace out. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.